Many news reports are indicating that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has decided to fully take over Gaza. This would include areas where the remaining hostages are believed to be held. And as this is happening, of course, we have France and Britain, who are two permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. They're saying that they intend to recognize a Palestinian state. And they're not alone. Canada is doing the same thing. They're all bowing to Hamas's demands for recognition. So, how should the United States respond both to the Prime Minister's takeover decision and our allies' dangerously misguided decision to recognize a Palestinian state? Well, joining me right now, live from Israel, is Congressman Randy Fine. He represents the 6th Congressional District of Florida. Congressman Fine, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's late where you are. Thanks for staying up. Welcome to Washington Watch.
Happy to be here. It's an honor to talk to you.
Well, I know you're traveling there, obviously, in Israel right now. You're speaking with a number of leaders while you're there. To the extent that you can, what are you hearing from them?
Well, I just got here this morning, and so there haven't been that many discussions at this point. But what it seems clear is that the Israeli government has made the decision to fully annex Gaza. And I think it's an unfortunate decision, but one that has to be made. I mean, what is clear is that Hamas has no intention of surrendering, has no intention of releasing the hostages, and is going to wait for their allies, which is what you have to call them now, in France and Britain and Canada, countries that have succumbed to Muslim terror, to back them up. So Israel has no choice, if we want to bring this war to an end, but to conquer the enemy. And so I fully support them in doing that.
Yeah, it's a head-scratching thing to watch nations like Great Britain and France and Canada and wondering what in the world are they doing. At the same time, we have Prime Minister Netanyahu has decided to fully take over Gaza. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, look, I think those countries are saying what they're saying because they have submitted to radical Islam. I mean, they have allowed people who have no desire to integrate, who come into their countries largely on government benefits. They don't seem to want to plead for asylum in Muslim countries. They seem to want to come to their countries. And now they're a meaningful percentage of the electorate. So they're just having to kowtow to their voters. But as for what Prime Minister Netanyahu is going to do, look, he has an obligation to bring this war in for an end. And the way wars end is one side wins and one side loses. But for decades, the West has said to Israel, you can't win. You can't win. I mean, right now we have you must feed the enemy. You must make them comfortable so they can regain their strength and try to kill you again. And so Bibi, it sounds like, has decided he's going to win the war. He's going to conquer the enemy and make them submit. That's how wars work. And to be clear, that is what Hamas has said they want to do to Israel. They have said they want to conquer Israel, and they want the Jewish state, which, by the way, is incredibly important to Christians as well. They want it to submit. And I think that would be a scary thing for both of our religions.
Yeah, absolutely. So right in the middle of both of these scenarios, when we're talking about Prime Minister Netanyahu's decision on the one side and other countries like Canada and France and UK, right in the middle of that is the United States. How should we, in your opinion, respond both to the issue with other countries trying to recognize a Palestinian state and the decision of the Prime Minister? What is the role of the U.S. in all of this?
Well, I think what we can do is say to Israel is ignore the idiots and do what is right. I mean, the fact of the matter is, look, France is they're addicted to surrender. That's just what they do. The UK and Canada, again, have both embraced radical Islam in their countries. So why would we be surprised when they say they are going to support it in other parts of the world? What the U.S. has to do is be strong, and we have to support Israel however they need it. And I think we have to do something, and I'll be calling on Bibi to do this when I see him this week, is what is clear is that Israel and the West is winning the military war, but to some degree we're losing the PR war. The Muslim terrorists are very good at lying. And we have to do a better job of making sure the truth gets out there because so many people are just willing to buy it as is. It's like these pictures of starving children next to fat mothers and other children that are perfectly fine, and people refusing to deal with the hard facts of the conditions on the ground, which, as we can talk about, there's a reason there are a lot of kids in bad shape in Gaza. And it turns out, if you marry your cousin, which almost half of Gazans have done, you're going to have a pretty good chance of your kid having a problem.
Yeah, good point. And I saw today that Israel is calling on the legacy media to start showing pictures of the starving hostages that they're holding in the horrible conditions that they're in, by way of comparison. But you referred to them as don't listen to the idiots, I believe is the way you said it. And I mean, look, that's just putting it straightforward. But unpack for us, Congressman Fine, what are some of the real world consequences when our allies start believing the lies of a terror group?
Well, I think the consequences is we lose them as allies. I mean, these countries, it's less about what they're doing with Israel. It's what they're allowing to take place in their own countries. France has Muslim Sharia no-go zones. In the UK, if you criticize Islam, you go to jail. But if you want to call for the deaths of Jews, that's A-OK. I mean, it's what worries me less is about these countries, their support of Israel. Look, Israel doesn't need their support. Israel's used to being alone or being alone with the United States. What worries me is about the collapse of Western civilization, because that's what I see. I see people who have no desire to assimilate, do not share the values of the countries they're going to, and do not seek to add value to those societies, come in and ruin them. You can look at the same problem in the United States in our immigration system. Too many of the wrong kinds of people who don't want to add value, don't want to assimilate, and don't share our values. It's not about the color of their skin or what they look like. It's just, do they want to come and add value? And these countries have allowed these people in. They've talked about taking children from Gaza to give them health care. But once they do that, then they have to bring their extended families. It's a disaster for these countries to be thinking about doing these things.
Yeah, and you talk about these countries that have allowed these people to come in and really transform their country. I mean, we've watched through the open borders that we have here, a lot of this type of stuff coming across our own borders as well. How do you think that these lies potentially have contributed to that, to the exploding anti-Semitism that we're seeing right here in America on college campuses, not to mention worldwide, like some of the countries that we've mentioned?
Look, it's bad. I'm not just a member of Congress. I'm a Jewish member of Congress. I'm one of 4 Republican Jews. And so this affects me personally and my family personally. And I will say that when the world said never again, it lied, because never again is going on right now. And the level of anti-Semitism that you see online, on social media, that you see on our college campuses, that you see in our streets, Jews being attacked, their homes being graffitied, it is reminiscent. It is exactly what happened in the 1930s in Germany. And I've got news for people. If your life isn't going the way that you wish, it isn't because the Jews did it to you. It's because you screwed up your own life. But people hate Jews because, frankly, no group's been treated worse in history. Yet we always figure out how to come back and be prosperous. And I think you got a lot of people who are just miserable and want someone else to blame.
Well, real quickly, are there some things that we can do, perhaps Congress, but just as an audience even, to combat some of these insidious lies that Hamas and their allies have been spewing on the world stage?
Well, I think the biggest thing that people can do is they can call their elected officials. Look, most Republicans, there are 2 exceptions that are pretty anti-Semitic, but most Democrats have abandoned Israel. And look at who they want to be the mayor of New York. I mean, a guy who's a flat-out Muslim terrorist from Uganda. So they need to register to vote. They need to vote, and they need to tell people in their party, if they're Democrats, that this isn't okay. Not all Democrats believe this nonsense, but they also have to tell the facts. And the fact is this. And your speaker that you played the clip from the Gaza humanitarian. Actually, no, it was Mike Huckabee who said it. Never in history.
Just got a few seconds.
Yeah. Never in history has a winning army been told they have to take care of the losing army. And that's what's happening here. It needs to stop. And I think the war is going to come to an end soon.
Congressman Randy Fine, thank you for staying up late, coming on live for us from Israel. Hope you have a fantastic week with your trip there. Thank you.